I mean, if you look at it, China is the biggest foundry nation in the world. But there are a bunch of countries around you also, like Vietnam, Taiwan, Thailand, Japan. And what I understand, all these guys are coming to this trade show, maybe rather than going to other trade shows in other parts of the world, because A, this is the big market. B, this is where you find new technologies and everybody's gathered in the same place. Is that correct?
We look up of the top 10 international visitors. 8 are from the Asian countries. The top 3 is Japan, South Korea, and India. Yes, the 4 is Thailand. So, but only the 2 are from the Europe, the Germany and the Italian.
There you go. Car making has become an Asian thing. We can just conclude that. I mean, we know it. And then if you want to understand this market and find the technology that's driving this market, go to Shanghai Diecasting.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Goldcasting Podcast, the podcast on how to make money in the foundry industry. And today we jump in the largest foundry economy in the world. We go east, we go to China and want to talk about the Chinese foundry economy and also China Diecasting. And for that, we welcome Mrs. Bao and Dr. Sun to the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
So great to have you guys here. We know you, but some in the audience might not know you. So could you please present yourself, Mrs. Bao and Dr. Sun?
So I'm from FICMES. Its full name is Foundry Institution of Chinese Mechanical Engineering Society. So we can solve for the China Foundry Society. So I also served as the Secretary General of World Foundry Organization, short for WFO, the Diecasting Commission. So at FICMES, we focus on the promoting the foundry industries through the technology exchange, academy collaboration, and journal publication. And but honest, I think most of the people know FICMES in China Diecasting. So very happy to see you here and to introduce the China Diecasting. If not only the exhibition, but the whole Chinese diecasting industry.
Again, welcome. And Dr. Sun, we're eager to hear about you and your background and your professional life.
Okay, let me have a short introduction. My Chinese name is Sun Jingying. Sun is my family name, and also my English name is Jerry. You can also call me Jerry. My doctor degree is about the low pressure diecasting. And also, after I got my doctor degree, I worked in BMW China to do the high pressure diecasting, low pressure diecasting technology and simulation, just like this. And after that, I running my own business. Now I have a consulting company. Now I'm the CEO of CASFU. And our company's main focus on some advanced casting technology. And also we can provide the turnkey solutions of the high pressure diecasting and the low pressure diecasting for our customers. And also we can produce the 3D print prototyping and some small batch casting products. If you have some casting or foundry problems, it's my honor to talk with you.
Very good to know, and then it means that you have a great knowledge span, I would say, from alloys to casting problems. Now, we have a bunch of questions, so let's jump into it. You cannot talk about casting in China or in the world without mentioning gigacasting. And China has become the epicenter of gigacastings with everything that follows. And we understand 120 contracts out there and big machines. Most of them, I would say 80%, are actually bought in China, installed in China, or during installation. So let's start from the beginning. Gigacasting revolution, born in San Francisco, but now it has moved to China. China is the epicenter of it. Dr. Sun, why is China the epicenter of gigacastings in the world?
From my opinion, first, I think is the technology advantage and the cost effectiveness. As we know, the traditional total vehicles manufacturing have 4 major processes: the stamping, welding, painting, and final assembly. And the gigacasting changed the stamping and the welding to die casting, combining the first two steps into one step to direct cast the larger components. So for example, the gigacasting of a Tesla Model Y was originally made of 70 stamped and welded parts, and integrated into gigacasting is in one part. And this reduced the production processes, production cycle time, and improved the production efficiency. And Tesla also officially stated that the gigacasting has saved the Model Y at least 20% of manufacturing costs. And this 70 parts into one gigacasting also can reduce the weight of the total vehicle, and the lightweight body design can also improve the fuel economy and reduce exhaust emissions and increase the range of the electric vehicles. And also I have second point is the growth of the NEV cars market in China. So the Chinese new energy vehicle market is experiencing explosive growth. And the demand for the advantage manufacturing technology by the NEV companies is becoming more urgent. So the gigacasting technology can meet the requirements of the lightweight, high performance, and low cost. So the gigacasting has been widely applied in the field of the NEV, and the car companies such as NIO, Lixiang, Huawei, Xiaomi, Xiaopeng, they all successfully used the gigacasting technology in China.
But you're very fast to adapt to the gigacasting technology. It doesn't seem like in Europe, where we have a lot of committees and a lot of projects that take years and years. In China, you buy a machine because you like the idea. That is the feeling I have. So to see more about this, there's a big opportunity coming to us in July. I think it's the 16th to the 18th of July. We have the China Die Casting Trade Fair in Shanghai. One of these very big events, how big it is. And Mrs. Bao, could you present the trade fair in terms of size, exhibitors, and useful facts for us?
So let's go back to the 1990s. We established the China Die Casting. I think the first version is 1997. Before that, FICMES, the leader, they go to Niklas. Niklas have die casting congress and exhibition. Then when they go back to China, and they want to do exhibition, just focusing on the die casting. And that's the beginning of China Die Casting.
How big is this trade fair?
The first version, I think, is only less than 50 exhibitors. And that year, Bueller is only standard booth, only very small. And at that time, Bueller in China, they only several staffs just focusing on the sales, no manufacturing factory, and only 2,000 square meters. And after over 20 years, so this year, we have the biggest version since the China Die Casting. So I think maybe this year we can call China Die Casting the world's biggest exhibition in die casting. The show space is 49,200 square meters. And we have a new hall. We call it N4. There are many new brands, new technology will be shown in the new hall. And we estimated 560 exhibitors will be there. And we expect that will be 20,000 visitors. Yes, we are trying to our best now for the last month to do the best visitor service, especially the overseas visitors for the special new service this year for the business matchmaking and technology guide tour. So there will be some experts guide taking you to the special line. If you're interested in the Magnesium and Gigacasting or some of the top castings Like the handmade wheel, also the first time shown in China. Low pressure, low carbon emission, and 3D print.
So what you're saying is that this is the place to go if you would like to look at the Eastern Hemisphere of die casting. I mean, if you look at it, China is the biggest foundry nation in the world. But there are a bunch of countries around you also, like Vietnam, Taiwan, Thailand, Japan. And what I understand, all these guys are coming to this trade show maybe rather than going to other trade shows in other parts of the world because A, this is the big market, B, this is where you find new technologies and everybody's gathered in the same place. Is that correct?
We look up of the top 10 international visitors. 8 are from the Asian countries. The top 3 is Japan, South Korea, and India. Yes, the 4 is Thailand. So, but only the 2 are from the Europe, the Germany and the Italian.
There you go. Car making has become an Asian thing. We can just conclude that. I mean, we know it. And then if you want to understand this market and find the technology that's driving this market, go to China die casting.
Yes,
very simple.
You can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also that we can start to dig down a bit on the individual topics, as you had some main topics for the exhibition, that we go from software through the melts, through the large casting machines, also from aluminium into magnesium. There's this large variety of possibilities to see on that huge show floor at the trade show.
But you can conclude that everybody will be there.
So I think the China die casting is different from the other die casting shows in the world because many people think we are mailing for the big DC machines. Yes, we have big DC machines every year. And manufacturers will bring the new product, the machines, to on-site. And every year, I think it's 10 to 20 die casting machines will have the live show on-site.
Oh.
Yes.
That's more than some foundries have.
Yes, so they will have a bigger displaying booths and very attractive activities on site. So I think it's a difference only to display the die casters.
So you really want to crawl around these new machines, you should go there because you have 15 to 20 machines in the show. And
Yes.
I mean, leave the PowerPoint and go to see the reality.
Yes, that is only for machines. But I think this year, not only the high pressure die casting, but we want to extend to the other process like the low pressure, squeezing pressure, and semi-solid. I think we do some work and it really works. So if like the very famous brand, they will take all of I mentioned the process, not only the high pressure. So I will keep that a secret. If you want to go to China to see the China die casting, you will see that it's really different from the other years. And magnesium, all the castings are all the hottest technology this year. So I think almost every Chinese OEM began to talk about magnesium. Everyone, most everyone. Maybe they want the possibility to replace all of them with the magnesium.
It's so interesting with magnesium. We're seeing this coming like a comet, very fast. There's been a lot of talk about magnesium over the last 30 years, but now we see more and more examples of gigacastings made in magnesium. So, Dr. Sun, what is your take on the magnesium trend in China?
To be honest, my supervisor during my university period is about focusing on the magnesium. So just as you mentioned, they researched several years for the magnesium to do the R&D, do the research. And China has the world's largest magnesium resources. So in China, for the NEV cars, it's expand very fast. And for the magnesium, the density of the magnesium alloy is only 1.74. Currently, it is the lightest metal structure material in the mass production cars. So the lightweight can bring a lot of advantage of the NEV, as I just mentioned. And the magnesium alloy die casting parts have many applications in the automotive interiors like CCB and some brackets And also, I know some company in China, they develop like the wheel, magnesium wheel produced by high pressure die casting, and also for some chassis parts and for the battery and for the electric housing. All very hot topics in China.
So it's safe to say that this development finally is kicking off, and we'll see much more magnesium in the cars in near future, I would say.
Yeah, because like the way
I think this is also the direct development when you see from, okay, we have new EV brands in China. You don't have 10 years to build up your supply chain. You have to go quick to market. So you started with the gigacasting. Now you see, okay, I want to get even lighter. Then is the logical step then jumping to magnesium. And
yes, you are right. In China, the EV companies developed very fast for the cars, for the new generation. Next year, you can see the next generation.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Always like this, yeah.
So magnesium is a big trend. We can conclude it's here to stay. And then we understand also another thing that is growing in interest in China and Asia is semi-solid. What is your take on that? Like Gigacasting and GIS and all these buzzwords that we hear. Gigacasting, yeah.
Semi-solid, I think, is not a new technology.
Oh, it's old.
Yeah, yes. And Fleming's first mentioned this semi-solid several years past.
71, I can tell you. 71.
Yeah, yes. And recently, it's very famous in China for the magnesium, because the magnesium easy to burn. For the high pressure die casting, is very dangerous. So semi-solid can solve this problem, and also can bring the high performance of the magnesium. So for the magnesium, semi-solid will be maybe very famous during the latest years. And also for the aluminum, we also have some different methods to do more parts. Just like recently, one HPDC company named Izumi, and they developed the seed. I mean, it's a high solid phase semi-solid method. And you can see a crucible rolling there, and we can get a high solid phase, and you can get higher tensile strength for the parts.
So finally, people have realized to get real semi-solid in aluminum, you need to have a solid fraction about 25-35%, because otherwise you just do a cold casting with a lot of porosities.
Yes, and you can reduce the porosities and can increase the die life. And maybe in July, if you come to China, you can see a lot of semi-solid method in the exhibition. I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of technology, you're gathering the Eastern Hemisphere, meaning 65% of the car market and the supplier market, or maybe more than the supplier market. One thing that I'm a little bit curious about, if I'm interested in softwares, I mean, speaking about simulations and other thing, Ms. Bao, do you have a take on this, if one is interested in the more soft tools out there in the trade fair?
I think China Diecasting covered most of the famous software in China or in the world. As we all know, the Magma is covered a big market even in China. And also Anycasting, Flow 3D, we can call their name. And we still have the Chinese brand called Sichuang. It's not very new. I think they are more and more famous in the world now.
I mean, based on the technology level in China, I mean, it's safe to say that the quality of the software used must be very high, because otherwise you don't pull off these gigacastings or heat sinks that we see and the advanced shapes. So that makes it quite interesting to also see, okay, what's coming up from China when it comes to the software development. You have a lot of smart guys. Basically, this is about math. So again, easy to look at the die casting machines, but the soft things before in the industrialization of the part is, according to me, super interesting. So that's another argument for you to go to China die casting and really take your time, I would say.
Yeah. Also see the whole production chain from the initial phase, part design, the softwares, and then get into the production. And I think you will also have a lot of post-production like heat treatment, machining there as well.
Welcome to China, Shanghai. And also many delicious food. Not only the parts. Yeah.
No, that is true. The food in Shanghai is brilliant. Speaking about it, what is your favorite spot in Shanghai, Dr. Sun?
You know, I and the doctor, we are not born in Shanghai and even not based in Shanghai. I'm based in Shenyang. Vance Dr. Sun also based in Shenyang because he worked in BMW in Shenyang. So I only go to Shanghai as all of you from the overseas. For work trip only, but I really love Shanghai because I think it is the city that really carries many people's dream and helped many people succeed. So we'll be seeing so many business start here and grow step by step and bigger and bigger. So if you want to mind I asked the DeepSeek. So it's a classic attractions like the band and the Yu Garden, the traditional garden. They also have some the new attractions like the Disneyland in Shanghai and also the Shanghai Tower. But I think you can find anything you are looking for in Shanghai. I think Shanghai is modern and traditional and international, all the things together. So I think will make the city special.
Yeah.
You can go to the Huangpu River. Yes, take the boat and look the night view. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Nihong light.
Yeah.
I always end up around this Pearl River, the walk, where all the new wedded couples are standing for the photographing in Shanghai. And there you really can speak about people's dreams, and aspirations when getting married as well. Jumping back a little bit to this magnesium thing, how do you think it will play out? Will we see more exports of advanced castings in magnesium from China to the rest of the world because you already have the material? I mean, it makes sense to do the casting in China than directly. Or do you see that it will be more and more export of material out of China, like ingots?
Yeah, as the Dr. Shen mentioned, China has the production of the magnesium alloy account for the world production maybe over 60%. So why the EV automakers, they would like to use the magnesium alloy? I think they can control, or maybe the China people can control the price. I think the last year or this year, the magnesium price even lower than aluminium.
It's fluctuating a lot.
Yeah, I think it's the key point. Every innovation and the demand is the key point is that they want to aim for the cost. And the aluminium, the price is higher and higher, maybe for the reason of the war or something. Yes, we want to input if the price is okay. I don't think every Chinese people want to replace the magnesium, everyone, because the machine is...
it comes with investments.
Yeah, I think it's twice higher than just the regular die-casting machine, especially the semi-solid injection, the magnesium machine. Yeah, it's very expensive.
But I think you can...
Yes.
Can go to China Diecast and then can look at the LK machinery's new innovation for using a normal high pressure diecasting machine and still getting Tixocasting with the magnesium. It's a great innovation. There you go, Mr. X at LK. You get some free adverts here, but I find this very interesting. And here we go. It's developed in China. It's developed in a market that is asking for these kind of products. And where do you find the experts? Well, you find them in the booth of LK. Very simple.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that we have to add, like if we compare it to Europe and China in between, that in Europe you have committees discussing these things. When you go to China, you have people actually doing it, trying it out, improving it. So when you go there, you don't have someone who has a theoretical study about these things. You meet the people that actually can share their experiences and talk about the difficulties they had and why that product is now ready for serious production.
I mean, if you look at Gigacasting, I got customers now in testing the first time in China. Then I have customers in Asia. They're up to version number 17. And we all know, learning by doing. You can have your softwares and everything you should have to get the quality right and the starting point. But end of the day, this is casting. It's a practical thing you have to master. And it's like a decathlon. Melt treatment, furnaces, process, die casting machine, tool technology. Everything has to meld together in general, but in specific when it comes to gigacastings. And this is why I find Asia that interesting, because if you believe what I believe, that learning is by doing, and the combination that you need all the disciplines, where do you find all these disciplines in tool making and everything? Well, actually, China die casting. So
yes,
there you go.
It's also a revolution of the universities and the institute. We need to do more R&D about the material, just you mentioned, material tools, heat treatment, everything, simulation, software, and the hardware, everything. We change the rules.
Absolutely. It's not a linear process. It's a constant cycle, because if you have a material to start with, you do the simulation based on that, build the first tool, and then you see, oh, my latent heat is too high, I get all these thermal hotspots. Then you have to go back, adjust the alloy, adjust the tooling, do the second round, and now you start to see the advantages. And that's, I think, the crucial thing for development cycles, and not just linear thinking. We have to have the perfect solution from day one.
Yeah. And also very interesting for the Sichuan, the simulation software in China. They also use the AI into the simulation to reduce the calculation time.
Yeah, because it starts there. It really
very
does.
Interesting.
Even we have a PhD that is from China at small Comtech, so you can question why we have it. And I mean, definitely having at least, the level of speaking Mandarin in technical issues is a key point for us.
Yep. Also, I think with the AI, that's something that is trickling down in all parts of the industry. And I think you can see that at China die casting as well. Can you give us some insights on where you will find AI on China die casting?
I've noticed that some of the university, there's some of the professors do some research with AI, especially the material R&D. So I noticed they've used the method. They have so many the materials database, then use them to R&D the new materials with the automaker together.
We also have a topic about AI in my team, and we are working on the LPDC, the low pressure die casting process. First, we need to do the data collection, and we can do the data mining, and you can find which parameters can influence the porosity, the gas treatment, and some casting defect, and to give you the data which parameter you should change, and the machine can change maybe the heating temperature or the cooling parameters automatically.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, there's also a cooperation from my team to a Chinese machine company named Tianhong. We're still working on it.
Yeah, it has to be that step. I mean, if you start to look at it, sometimes when I meet customers and they say, yeah, now we have our gigacasting, and it feels like, okay, we're done. And I used to think, that you're just the starting point of a 20-year development now. Because how thin can you make it? How big can you make it? What kind of properties can you squeeze out of it? And that is all fine. That's a lot of PhDs, and I really love to discuss it. But I think the biggest problem where AI could play an important role is the productivity. Because you have, exactly as you're mentioning, Dr. San, you have a lot of parameters, and if you have an investment of some 200 or 300 million euros, and you have a car assembly on the other side of the wall that needs a new casting every 60 seconds, I mean, missing that shot starts to be very costly. Missing 10 shots is a total catastrophe. And there you go. And foundry business has been, about the old guys with all the wisdom and yada, yada, yada. And they know how the sound of the machine and the plunger, it's a good shot. Yeah, but you have the differences in the alloys, the shot profile, the humidity, who's the operator, the tool wear, the vacuum system, and on it goes. You got 30 different factors here. And how to control them by listening to the sound of the plunger, I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. And then you need smart guys. And coming back to it, why China is the epicenter of gigacasting? Because you're the only country that has the bulk of the information and the experience to be able to build the next generation of control system based on AI. Sorry, Europeans. That is my take on it.
And we need to make the first step.
Yeah, you start somewhere.
Yep.
You burn down your father's garage with it, and version number 2, and then it starts to work in some kind of direction. But 5 years later, there's a Chinese proverb I love. When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago or today? There's a lot of wisdom in that. You get started. Stop talking, get started.
And I think what you can start listening and viewing this podcast is your trip to the China die casting in July 16th to the 18th. because you will find all your answers on the exhibition floor there.
Absolutely. And again, to summarize, you reach the market Far East, you reach the market around China, not only China. So you reach 70% of the market, something. You will be able in one spot to see technology developments in software, magnesium, semi-solid, and also, of course, big die casting machines for gigacasting. So there are some reasons to go there on the 16th to the 18th of July. So happy to see you there.
Yeah. Also can come to CASFU.
Oh yeah, we will.
Let's enjoy the beer together.
Absolutely. One, maybe two.
Mm.
That's great. So thank you very much, Dr. San and Mrs. Lindsay Bao for being here. We're super happy about this podcast episode. We're looking forward to the China die casting, and we wish you all the best of luck. We know you will be successful, but anyway, and see you in July in China die casting.
See you in July in die casting.
See you in China, Shanghai.
See you there, and don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.